Hi, everyone. It is Black Girl Joy, and we're back for our third episode. Can you believe it? Lucky number three. And today I am super excited to again welcome one of my really good friends. And here she is, the
Hello.
gorgeous, the wonderful Miss Bunny Davis. So, Bunny and I have been friends for, oh my gosh, has it been a decade? Maybe not a
Not
decade.
a decade, but probably close.
No, it may have been because
Mm.
I started no, you're right. Not quite a decade, but right at a decade because I started I've been here for 7 years.
Oh,
So then but yeah, so it's been like 9
right.
years.
You're right.
It's
Dang
crazy.
it.
Which goes to what we're talking about today. So Bunny is a specialist in aging. And so on Black Girl Joy, we talk about all facets of life. So before we get started, remember to share our stream, like our stream, follow us on all the things on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the things. So I'll let Bunny give a brief introduction and we're going to dive right in.
Well, Roselle and I met when we were working together in tech and process related. I was in technical communication and we were working together. We had a very good team. But at the same time, I was also working, studying, doing research about aging because I've always had an affinity for older people. And so I decided to do more and more work in that. And then I wrote a book, Getting Old and Getting Over It, sort of. um, and there were some things. I have certifications in aging. And I remember in one class where I was studying, I got to a point where it was so depressing just to study about things that could happen to us. They were projecting, right, as we get older. I had to put it away for a while. And then I decided I want to write about it. But as I got older and as I was interacting with my older sisters, I found some humor in aging. And so I decided I want to wrap facts in humor whenever possible. So that's where I am now. I'm writing, I'm a researcher, a writer, and a speaker about aging.
Yes, and she is like telling the truth because I was reading the book, right? I got my little notes.
Oh, very good.
And and I was shocked because I didn't expect it to have humor in it. It's about ages, like getting over it, sort of. I was like really shocked. So amazing book. Let me put it on the screen so you guys can go pick it up. And we are going to dive in because I am super uncomfortable when it comes to aging. So I thought this book was a great way to kind of explore those uncomfortable topics. In a fun and lighthearted way. So, I want to start with you. How do you feel about aging now?
Well, now I'm better. I'm feeling better about it. The older I get, the more I'm feeling better about aging because at a certain point it becomes what are you going to do, right? And I'll tell you one very important thing for me that made me feel better about it. I decided, and this relates to your podcast. I decided to seek joy, literally to seek
Mm.
joy and to be positive about life in general. And if I'm going to do that, I got to get a positive attitude about aging. So that's where I am now. Now, there's still some times when I'm like, oh no, I can't take it. I can't take it. But I try to flip the switch and go positive and and go with that. So I'm getting better. I'm not all the way there, but I'm getting better.
Okay. So, like I said, I looked through the book and it talked about your kind of biggest influencers when it came to aging and talked about your sisters. How did your
Right.
sisters impact your view of aging?
All right. My sisters, when I was born, one sister was 20 years old and the other was 17. So at a certain point, we were like sisters, and we grew as we grew older together. we became closer, but I began to learn from them about aging. And at one point, they would, joking. We would joke together. We would travel together. Sometimes they would confide things in me. It's like, whoa, too much. I don't want to hear all that. But at one point, one of my sisters said, because they were so much older when I was born, they said, at one point, they said, now, where did she come from? Me, where did I come from? In a funny way. We were joking. And then we realized later in life, I came for them and they were there for me.
Aww.
So over the years, we were always very loving, and I was their support person. I was their advocate. I was there for them. So it was a very good relationship. One of my sisters was a diva, and the other one was in charge of everything. So it was just interesting dynamics. I miss them, love them. Now they are my guardian angels. Guardian angels.
Oh, that's amazing. So your story, which I didn't realize until I read your book, is similar to mine, right? So my mom had me, my oldest sister was like 16 or 17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they thought I was her baby. My mama would get mad. But like my other siblings, other sister, like 6, 7 years older than me, and my brother's about 10 years older than me. So it was always this dramatic difference. I learned about aging from my mom. And the funny part is that she had an influence on me, but not enough, right? So my mom embraced her age. She was like, I can't wait to retire. I'm just waiting. And I don't even know if it was about the age or if it was about retirement. It seemed like not working. And so she was always like, I'm 58, I'm 68, I got one more year. And she felt like she embraced it, and I'm the exact opposite. Because I'm like, it started honestly when I was 25. I was having this conversation. With my aunt. I was 25. I worked at racetrack, and there, I miss my racetrack people. There, we would celebrate birthdays, right? Me and my friends, we would decorate desks. We may sneak and decorate your car on the outside. Like, we would be extreme with our celebrations. And I remember my 25th birthday, I was like, better not nobody do nothing.
What?
Yes, I was like, no. Because for me, 25 was an age where people, okay, this is going to sound silly.
Go ahead.
25 to me at that time of being 25 was an age when you didn't get passes. Mind you, I did some irresponsible stuff in my life, right? But overall, I was pretty responsible. I wasn't doing anything like wild and crazy. And so, but for 25, I was like, if I do something stupid, people really gonna think I'm stupid now.
Oh, God.
Like immature.
Oh, so you thought you should be a different person after today?
I thought people would view me as like, I thought when you were like 21, right? You kind of got a pass on some stuff.
Right.
Oh, she's 20. But I felt like once you hit 25, people like, you should be a little bit more. So I didn't like the pressure of that. And then when I turned, so every 5 years, I'm like 30, I'm like, 35, 40 is gonna be, I don't know what 40 gonna be.
That gets to what I feel about the aging and why it bothers me. It's because I thought that it meant putting me in a certain box. And that box represented this old woman sitting in a rocking chair and not really contributing to society, not having any ambitions, so that box, and it's a box that I saw society creating, but also I noticed that I was also, because of stereotypes about aging. So at any age, we have to be careful about what box we're putting ourselves in.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in categories or in a box also. And part of what's good for me is I'm not allowing that box. I think the kind of work I do, I've always been a writer. I started out as a newspaper reporter. And so I've always been a writer. So I will always write. So when people ask me, are you retired? Sometimes I'm like, no. I will always be a writer. So, and I will always be a creator. And there are things that I always want to achieve. I just naturally want to achieve things. So don't put me in a box. Don't limit me at any age. Don't limit me. So what you're saying, you boxed yourself and get out of the box.
I don't even know what type of box it was. I was just like 25.
I can't believe it.
You said-
Youngster.
So if you're watching right now, post in the comments, like who's been your biggest influence when it comes to aging? And then what challenges have you experienced with aging, like internally? Have you experienced with aging and maybe even externally, right? I guess so external. So Bunny, when you came on, I said Miss Bunny. And it's so funny because in your book, you hate Miss, right?
No. Okay. Ma'am and miss. Well, but to me, and I guess in my head again, when I hear that, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm old. Miss Bonnie. And I know it's out of respect for whenever somebody, I say, you can just call me Bonnie. Now, the reason it impacted me so hard is because in my work environments that I've been in, it's usually been in, sort of relaxed, technology, just, and everybody called everybody by their first name. So, and I noticed that women were most, I was called Miss Bonnie by some people, but the men were never called Mr. Joe or Mr. Jack. It was always first name. So then I felt like I stood out. I'm Miss Bonnie. I'm the old person on the team. So that was part of it. My work environment had a lot to do with shaping that label for me. Yeah.
That's so interesting. So I call everybody Miss. And so I really took account of when I read that. I was like, so I called my friend Miss. No, I say ma'am. So I have this thing where I'll be like, ma'am, 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 ma'am. And my friend was like, you call me this when you frustrated with me. I was like, no, I call everybody ma'am. And I literally went on my friend's Instagram page. She posted this picture in this like really cute dress, and I put "ma'am, fire, fire."
Well, that's a whole different way of ma'am.
It is. Yeah. That's how I use ma'am and miss. So I thought about it. I was like, who is Miss in my phone, right?
Right.
And so if you look at my phone right now, I don't know if I have any of Jalen's teachers, but like teachers, you still kind of refer to as Miss and Mr., right? But the person I remember that's named Miss in my phone is my niece. And my niece is like 6, 7 years younger than me, something like that. She was born when I was in 3rd grade, whatever age that is, right? And so I have her as Miss because she's always been so sophisticated. She's like the most sophisticated person I know. So she's like saved in there as Miss. And I'm like, no one else in my phone is saved as Miss.
And I guess, and being from the South, people expect it, you Miss, ma'am, sir, all of that. But I don't know. Maybe I left the South for a while and came back. I'm not sure about all that. But and I guess it was the first slap in the face when I heard it from an adult.
Yeah.
Young, one thing, but a grown old woman or a man, that was a different thing. That was the first slap in the face. You're getting old, the whole ma'am thing. But then, as I say in the book, I realized people have been calling me ma'am when I was younger, but for some reason, I felt like I was getting older, so it started to
impact you. See, they were calling you ma'am because you were sophisticated.
Oh, right, I like
that. you were sophisticated. So then I look, and this one hit me too: the chronological age versus the functional age. And so I always feel like my functional age is much older than my chronological age.
You think your functional age is older?
I think, or maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Hold on, let me reread.
Let me go back to my book too.
Okay, so you said who can do stuff without assistance. So I'll say I think my mental age is older than my chronological age.
Oh, okay. And you think, and what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Why do you say that?
Because I always been an old soul. So when I everywhere I go, it's kind of strange, but I seek out friendships with older people. Like it's just a thing I do. I have friends that are, around my age, but traditionally my friends have been older. And when I look at relationships, I typically seek out older, it's just, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I just think like people who are older than me are more mature, and it's
Uh,
just to me it's a better fit.
I can see that because that's exactly what I thought about you. You know, that you're an old soul. Because I mean, because I relate to you so well. I'm like,
Mhm.
the last time you and I had lunch, I came back and I talked to my niece and I said, I can't believe how we relate. And you're millennial, right? Are you
Yep.
millennial? And I'm like, there's supposed to be this, with millennial and
Mhm.
baby boomer. I'm a baby boomer. And but I said, wow, we really relate. And that's when I said, okay, she's an old soul.
I am. I always, it's just always, I kind of always felt like I didn't really fit in, like in school and stuff. I have like one friend, two
Oh,
friends, right?
okay.
And I just didn't. But once I kind of got out of high school and stuff, I always gravitated towards people who are older than me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hmm. So were you the same way?
Well, not exactly. Um, I had I could relate to older folks because I was around a lot of older people.
Hmm.
But here's the thing, I'm an empath. Now, let me explain.
The second.
I very easily relate to anybody.
Yeah.
I very easily walk in other people's shoes, no matter
Hmm.
what age. So for me, it's just easy for me to relate to all ages.
Yeah.
Let me, let
Me.
me say, let me say, recently though, I don't know, Gen Z. I'm like, maybe that's not. But anyway,
Yeah, Disney. I don't know if I've got like younger people younger than me. It's just hard. It's just hard.
right, right.
But I try. I can relate to their struggles. I can relate to like life stuff, but I'm just like, I don't know if I really hang out with people younger than
Right, right. Well, one big thing that I do like about my aging is that, and I'm going to admit, it was in my 60s where I am now. Oh God. Anyway, I finally fell in love with myself. Now that is very different from loving myself.
me. Hmm.
I mean, it's deeper.
Yeah.
It's nobody can mess with me. I mean, I'm protective of myself. I love myself. It's and I really wish I had done that much younger
Yeah.
because falling in love with yourself, there's a type of respect. It's not an ego thing.
Hmm.
There's a type of caring for yourself, for your mind, your body, um, how you interact with other people. And I had already decided before that I wanted to seek, like I said, seek joy and shun the negative.
Hmm.
Now, there were a couple of people in my family, my mother being one of them, very negative.
Hmm.
So I had negative in my environment as a little kid and growing up. And I'll just mention that was verbal abuse also
Hmm.
in my house. And because I was so sensitive as an empath, we didn't know this at the time. I was the most sensitive. And people say, "Oh, why are you so sensitive?" Well, I just so so negative. I shun, and that's something all ages. When I talk to different people, different age levels, shun the negative, pull the positive, give the positive.
Hmm.
So I definitely work to bring joy for myself and anybody I come in contact with.
So that's such a good, like, that's the whole nother topic, right? Falling in love with yourself. And I remember my older sister was like, we had, you know what, my family's interesting. And maybe I shouldn't put her out here like this. But one of her things was like, when I turn 40, I can say whatever I want.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
But there is a, like, I feel it now. There's a freedom that comes as you get older
Yes.
to be like, you know what? Like, why do I care about what they say? Why am I allowing this person in my energy and in my space? It's definitely, I can feel it more and more. Like, I'm very passive. I'm very emotional too, right? I was the crybaby of the family. I'm still the crybaby of the family. But there's this thing that comes where I'm able to set more and more boundaries, which I
Excellent.
was not able, like, at all to do. And
Right.
now I speak a little bit more what's on my mind. I think a lot of the progression of that had to do with my mom being sick and just having no bandwidth to even like play games with people. Like you just at
Right.
a certain point, you just don't have no bandwidth in certain situations. But I have been able to slowly start like setting more boundaries, speaking my mind, doing what I need to do, whether it's at work, at home, in the community. There's a little bit of freedom as you get older where you're not as attached to other people's thoughts and other people's issues and situations.
Right. Right. And related to that is I just mentioned the struggle I had, and other people also have. And what I still have a struggle with at my age is reprogramming,
Mm-hmm.
rewiring.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I find myself still reacting to things based on way, 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 way back. So part of this whole, as I'm getting older, it's like, oh no, let that go.
Mm-hmm.
The whole forgiveness, because who was it? Somebody was an Oprah. Somebody said there is absolutely no way that that past is going to be any different. Nothing I can do.
Yeah.
It's not going to be different. Accept that and forgive myself, forgive others. But here I go. When I say forgive myself, I did some things out of my own insecurities. I know what it was about. And so it's more about now, even that, forgive myself for, because I wasn't doing it, and get over the insecurities and move on.
Yeah.
As we get older, we get over that. Now, I'm not saying be arrogant or, because I did have a relative who had some major anger, right?
Mm.
And we talked about it because I could see it pushing people away at a time when she needed people. Relationships are so, so important as we get older. So, so important. But should be positive relationships, not negative. And there were some things that were still eating her from. And we talked about it. And the last time we talked about it, she said, "Well, I guess I'll just take it to the grave." Okay.
Ooh.
People have to want to make a change. You can't change it. Even if you see somebody in pain. And here's another thing I've noticed about people as people get older. They tend to become more of what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Positive people, something about they're positive. They're not that negative people aren't kind, but they're kind and gentle. Whoa! But people who are negative, and don't want to adjust that, they can become extremely negative. Angry people can become extremely angry. So people, unless there's some reason that they want to change, they're going to become more of what they are.
Yeah, and that's where I plug therapy. I love therapy. I'm a personal advocate of therapy. I go to therapy every other week, and I feel like it's a lot of people out there, including myself, even though I'm in therapy, right? There's a lot of people who have unhealed, unsettled things. And sometimes I've heard people say therapy's not good. I don't need to talk to nobody. Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody who's not invested in your issue. It's not, it's not your family member who's gonna put on their perspective. It's not, your friend. Sometimes you need to talk to a therapist and work that stuff out. And then when it comes to what you were talking about people changing, I love Iyanla, right? Iyanla Vanzant. And every episode I watched of hers, I took something away. So even when I went in therapy, I was kind of in therapy because I take something from almost anything I watch or take in. And so for her, one thing I'll never forget that she said, and I applied it to a relationship, and I apply it now to probably all my relationships. Forgive yourself for wanting that person to be somebody they are not. Forgive yourself for wanting someone to be and expecting of someone something they are not, something they cannot give, something they are not willing to give. Forgive yourself for expecting that and let it go. And accept people kind of where they are. You accept them where you are and you figure out how are you going to interact with them from there on. But you can't keep expecting people to do, and act the way you want to. And you can't keep looking in the past because the past is not going to change. Like you said, it's not going to change. There's nothing you can do. And you can say, if this would have happened, this would have happened. You don't know that to be true. Um, and
And
so,
accepted for me, I see no mistakes in my life. As in, what can I learn from all of my experiences? Yeah, there have been times when I've been hurt, I've cried, I've been angry, but what can I learn from it? And this might sound like cliche, but really, really to look at things from that perspective. Because, okay, one thing is, as we get older, we figure we got less time on, time to go. And the question becomes, how do we want to spend our time?
mm-hmm,
That's at any age. Okay, here's my thing that I tell people,
mm-hmm,
and that is, remember this. This is your time on planet Earth.
mm-hmm.
Your time on planet Earth, and you are unique. There's no other human or other being just like you. The third point is, you are going to die. In all that uniqueness, I don't want to be sad about this, in all that uniqueness, it's going to happen. But, what are you going to do between now, right now, and then? It's your choice.
But do you know how much anxiety that gives me? You rolled your eyes at me.
No,
it's okay. It's okay. So I have this fear. It's
okay.
gonna sound strange. One of my deepest fears, I don't know if I should say this on the net, but one of my deepest fears is dying being mediocre. And it is a deep so when I start thinking about like what am I gonna do between now and then, I get so much anxiety.
No, you said you're gonna die. What was that word you used?
Being mediocre.
All right, you got to go and immediately call your therapist, because me and everybody else who knows you, loves you, is your friend. You are in no way mediocre.
That's how I be feeling.
That's about you. You got to clean that out.
I know.
You are in no way mediocre. And okay, you got to talk to your person about that, because the fear will keep you from doing things you need to do while you're on the planet.
Yeah. And sometimes it has me doing stuff maybe I shouldn't be doing, right? Because I'm like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to, it's like, oh, I got to be able to do this. I got to be able to succeed at this and exceed at it. And when I don't like reach what I expect, which is almost never, because what I expect is up here, then it brings me down. So it's something I'm very aware of it, but it exists. Okay. It exists.
Oh gosh, that's a whole deeper thing, because you are unique. You are. I know you might say, yeah, but oh man, you have so much, and I have seen you contribute so much, and wow, that's a whole nother. But look, get it together and relax. Now, as you get older, I promise you, and remind me that as you get older, you're gonna relax in that, because it's just too much weight.
Yeah.
It's too much worry. Come on now. Let that go. Relax in who you are. See, accept who you are.
Mm-hmm.
As a wonderful human being, contributing, intelligent, lovely, just the whole package.
Well, I like this section on me. It's really helping my self-esteem. So what do you have? We have like 1 minute left. What do you have out on the horizon? I'm going to give you the screen, and I'm going to put your website up.
Okay. On the horizon. Well, I'm working on my next book. Actually, I'm sort of working on two. One is slow your roll strategically. And that one, I'm also adding some humor about just some things you need to consider, because things do happen with us as we get older. And the other one is about handle your business. That relates to identifying your advocates, being your own advocate. And then there's some things that you just need to get in order, like your beneficiaries, your wills, and all that kind of thing. So we're going to work through that in those two separate books. And then I'm starting a YouTube channel. Bonnie Yakini is my African chosen name. Davis is my YouTube channel, Bonnie Yakini Davis. And want to talk like we're talking here to people, and we're going to actually do, because I have some training background, do some things to help ourselves as we get older. So that's what I'm working on.
Awesome. I can't wait to see what you do. I'll be following you all along the way because obviously I need all of the advice. Now, before we close, what is one thing you would tell teenage Bonnie about aging?
Gosh. What is one thing I would tell teenage Bonnie about aging? I would tell teenage Bonnie, love yourself. I would say, love yourself. And I would just, hug her. No, because sometimes I actually do this. Hug her. Let her hug me. And just say, you are wonderful, beautiful, positive, and say, it's going to be good. You're going to be something else. So just relax and be that person.
All right. I think all of our younger selves needed to hear that, and our older selves needed to hear that. I want to thank Bonnie for coming. As a reminder, like, share, follow, subscribe, all the things that they offer you to do. We are everywhere, and we are taking over Black Girl Joy. I can't wait to see you next time. Anything else, Bonnie, before we go?
Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Thank you for inviting me.
This has been so fun. I'm excited. I got to have you back when you do your other stuff.
Okay. All right.
All right. Bye, everyone.